Okay guys, welcome to the lesson on the object particle, ulul. This is a level 1 lesson as part of the Korean Grammar for Topic series of lessons. Getting straight into it, having a quick look at the new vocab for this week. The first one's Hangukgo for Korean. Just a note with this one guys, the first part of this word Hanguk is Korea, and the second bit O stands for language. So you put them together, you get Korean language. You can do this with a bunch of other countries that have their own individual languages. For example, Japan, Ilbon, Ilbono, Japanese. Next one, Je or my. Next one, Do and Naoshi. This is obviously made of two different words. The first part being the adjectival form of dopta, to be hot. So Do-un, Naoshi, which is weather. Do and Naoshi, hot weather. And then the last one, Joahara, which is to like. Alright guys, so let's have a look at this and break it down a little bit. Now, you don't need to be an expert in grammar to get this pretty quickly, luckily. And to be honest, once you've been doing this for probably a couple of weeks, you'll get past the point of thinking explicitly what's an object, what's a subject in a sentence, and rather just start throwing the particle onto the end of these. Now, I will say, and I'll say this up front, that you can omit these particles in spoken language, as with some of the other particles, but I highly recommend that you don't do that. There's a couple of reasons. The first one is you want this to be automatic. You want to get to the stage where you don't have to think about what particle you're adding, but rather you say 한국어 를 공부해요 without even thinking about it. And this will happen pretty quickly as long as you're practicing it. The second one is if you're talking to Koreans and you use the wrong particle, they're going to help you and be like, no, it should be this. So you get an extra level of correction, which will then help you get to the point where it does become automatic and you don't have to think about it. Now, obviously, sounds hard to start with, but you'll get to the point pretty quick where it's not. When it comes to usage of this, you'll notice there's two forms. Once again, this is related to whether the noun ends in a patchim or does not end in a patchim. If it does, then it's ul. If it doesn't, then it's rul. The way I remembered this when I started learning is if it's got a patchim, then there's something here and that sound comes up here, so you need a blank so that sound can then come up here as well. We'll talk about liaising sounds in a later lesson. Alright, so let's have a look quickly at what actually is an object and a subject of a sentence and my easy memory trick for remembering this early on. So if we look at this easy sentence in an English sentence, you'll note subject, verb, object is the English order, whereas subject, object, verb is the Korean order. So in the sentence, I eat an apple, it is I is the subject, eat is the verb, and then apple is the object. So, as I said, I was going to give you my memory trick. Think of this, the expression, she is the object of my desires. In that sentence, clearly, you're the one that has the desires, so you're the subject of the sentence. So you are doing the desires to something else, the object. So just remember, she is the object of my desires, or that what's having the desires done to. All right, so if we have a look at a Korean sentence, just to play that out a little bit, the subject, and in this case it has the topic particle attached to it, but the subject is I, 저는, 사과를, which is the object, and then lastly, 먹어요, to eat. So I, an apple, eat. Now, one of the other benefits about, I guess, Korean over English is, in English, order in a sentence is absolutely critical. So for example, if you take the sentence, the dog eats a cat, and you flip it, change the word order to a cat eats a dog, it completely changes the meaning of the sentence. Whereas in Korean, because of these particles, you can actually change the order and it won't upset the meaning of the sentence and you'll still be able to be understood. But the standard and where you should start off with is subject, object, verb, I, whatever you're doing something to, so in this case an apple, and then the verb, always end in the verb. All right, so let's have a look at some examples. And you'll note that I've color-coded each of the different particles in these sentences a different color, and today we're looking at the blue ones. So, 저는 한국어를 공부해요. I am studying Korean. Noting what's being studied or the thing here, 한국어, Korean, has the object particle attached to it. Next sentence, 제 친구가 영화를 봐요. My friend is watching a movie. The movie is the thing being done. Like, it's the object. 수학 을 공부해요. Notice there's a patching, so it's ul. I'm studying mathematics. And then lastly, 저는 더운 날씨를 좋아해요. I like hot weather. So 저는 더운 날씨를 좋아해요. I like hot weather. All right, guys. This one is one that you just need to practice. It'll very, very, very quickly become automatic as long as you practice enough sentences to make it so. So think about it, like for Boda, to watch, think what you are watching. What's the thing being watched? Was it, TV show, drama lul, boyo, watching drama, and so on and so forth. And remember that simple memory tool, she is the object of my desires. All right, guys, as always, good luck learning and stay safe.